Should have been 2011 or 2012, something like that. So yeah, in any case, 10 or 11 years ago, I was about to join the Masonic craft. I went to the ceremony of my initiation, and right after that, the next day, I went to school. I went to university, and I've met my friend Ahmed, and I told him all about it. I told him about the ceremony. I told him everything. I explained to him about the working tools and stuff. And Ahmed goes to me like, mate, what are you doing to yourself? Aren't they supposed to be evil, these guys? And I said, nah, no way, man, no. I mean, the whole language, the archetypes, the archetypal language that they're using, the ceremony, there's nothing evil about these guys, I said to myself. Um, the language is very appealing, the symbolism is appealing, it does appeal to the rational person within us, right? It appeals to the rational Christian who is bent towards doing good to other people. That's what it meant to me. It turned out Ahmed was right. I mean, Ahmed is not a silly guy, and actually, as a person, he's an encyclopedia on 2 feet, on 2 legs. Okay, he's a walking encyclopedia, Mr. Ahmed. So yeah, but enough about that. I am about to revisit a post that I made on the 6th of September 2021 for the very small detail that the post has disappeared. This post has disappeared from my YouTube records, and it has disappeared from my from my flash drives at home too. So yeah, I'm not blaming YouTube or anything. I'm not going to file for damages from YouTube on this one, simply because there's something on my end. I believe my account was hacked, in fact, by somebody, possibly by somebody that I live with, that I don't really know their real name, and therefore I am forced to revisit this topic. So once again, 6th of September 2021. Nobody important has in fact seen this one, so I am in fact forced to recreate the post in question. Okay, so the post refers to some medieval stuff. Okay. Now, the greatest name that I've ever heard of in medieval studies is this man, Umberto Eco. I think he passed away before 2020. He may have passed away in 2018 or 2016. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure he's not with us anymore. Very intelligent man, very reliable intellectual. Okay, very intelligent, very reliable, very smart. I truly and surely recommend his work in hermeneutics, in semiotics, in general the theory of interpreting information that we may be able to extract from the past. And of course, his magnus opus, The Name of the Rose, which is The Name of the Rose is a crime story in essence. It is set up in a medieval monastery in which we get some monks over there that are involved in doing some mischievous type of stuff with some alchemy, some knowledge. Okay, so if I'm going to compare, for example, somebody like Paulo Coelho with Umberto Eco, I'd say I'd say Umberto Eco is much heavier. Of course, they're not the same generation. Mr. Coelho is a tad younger, I believe. I think Paulo Coelho in The Alchemist, he makes a few points over there. If we're talking South American type of stuff, I'm more bent towards the Spanish writers like Marquez or Mario Vargas Llosa. But okay, Brazilian, the Portuguese writer, Brazilian, of course, Brazilian Portuguese. Paulo Coelho is pretty good too. Though I find him a little bit a tad how can I say, corny or cheesy. Yeah, but yeah, no. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho is also a huge achievement for literature and for knowledge in general. And in the same ballpark, I'd say I would mention here Patrick Suskind, I believe it's a dotted U, um, and his best known work, The Perfume. Okay, now that's also very good, very heavy medieval type of stuff. Whereas, okay, so medieval Europe, right? The stuff that Susskind wrote about is set up in medieval Europe. Umberto Eco writes about medieval Europe too. Whereas, of course, we must compare apples with apples here. Uh, so it is incorrect to compare Paulo Coelho with Umberto Eco or Patrick Suskind because, well, The Alchemist is set up in the Middle East somewhere. If I am to be correct on this one, I believe from memory. I read it when I was very young, and never returned into it. Whereas other writers, representatives of the South American boom, like Liosa or Marquez, well, they are set up in their setting usually in their works is South America. So yeah, I guess I don't know. I think Paulo Coelho is worth your time, and money. I mean, books are not that expensive these days, and they are a good investment basically. Cool. So coming back to medievalism, so this is the main man for medieval Europe, the heavyweight. Okay, I recommend his entire corpus of writings. Okay, he is simply outstanding. I think he was associated to the mafia. Uh, but I do believe he was associated to the mafia, Umberto Eco. But okay, he never wrote about the Cosa Nostra or anything like that. He was just a very smart, very intelligent man. May he rest in peace. Um, and he spent his life doing good. Okay, his life was a life well spent. Okay, I'm entirely filled with admiration for Umberto Eco. Now let's just dig into the stuff that I wanted to tell you about. Okay, so this is the doppelganger phenomenon. Okay, there exists. Okay, I did come to this conclusion myself using combinatorial mathematics type of argument. Okay, considering considering the features that human beings do exhibit. Okay, and considering the worldwide population, well, we will come to the conclusion that if we think carefully about this point, this is scientific and it can be proved. It can be proved scientifically, though I'm not going to waste my time with giving you the proof. Okay, there exists people that look exactly like each other. They look and sound exactly like each other, and this is provable scientifically, mathematically, through arguments that have to do with the pigeonhole principle and maybe elements from human genetics. Okay, so that's about it. We can find references in medieval literature to this phenomenon, namely medieval lords or medieval princes, um, medieval rulers, knights, okay, kings. They sometimes employed perfect lookalikes whenever they thought they are going to be, they are in danger or they are going to be assassinated. So they would send their lookalike to have a speech or a meeting or anything of that kind. Okay, so this is well known since at least the 1400s in Europe. This phenomenon, the doppelganger phenomenon. Now let me jump to something. Let me jump to something somewhat different. There exists a story that goes around in Vienna that basically says that coffee, okay, coffee was introduced in the Western world, in Western Europe in particular, through through the Crusades, basically. Okay, there was a battle somewhere, and the Crusaders, presumably, okay, the story goes that the Crusaders won. Yet they brought with them some bags of coffee that was roasted, and they brought it back to Europe, and they discovered the beneficial qualities of coffee. Okay, so that when I heard that story, I've read that story when I was in Vienna for about 8 months or so. I realized that this story is particularly interesting. Okay, so in the battle between the Crusaders, okay, in the battles between the Crusaders and presumably the Ottoman Empire, though there could have been other mischievous forces back then. Who won really? Who won those battles? Really? I mean, I've read a few commentaries on the topic, and as far the official history goes, like the Ottomans stopped at the gates of Vienna. Okay, that is the official story. Okay, so the Middle Eastern, okay, so the Near Eastern and the Middle Eastern influences on Western culture are not that high. Okay, so basically the Ottomans stopped once or twice, I'm not sure, at the gates of Vienna. Okay, yet let's get to the main to the main point that I wanted to make here. Let us look at this one. Look, this one is called The Beheading of John the Baptist, and it is authored by Caravaggio, okay, a famous Italian medieval painter. And okay, so this on face value, this is the beheading of John the Baptist, right? But if we look on the background carefully, okay, we look on the background, that is not the Middle East, okay? That building is medieval Italy. That looks a lot like European architecture, okay? So we get a few prisoners, okay? So presumably after a battle with the Ottomans, right? We get a few prisoners that managed to escape prison with some cooperation from inside. Okay, mainly with the cooperation of the two ladies that um, that we are able to see painted here. Okay. One the man that holds John the Baptist. Okay, so John the Baptist is actually a prison guard. He's either a prison guard or a man of authority in the story that Caravaggio paints here. And the man that holds his head is basically swapping roles with him. Okay, so he takes his clothes and assumes his identity. Okay, so he assumes the prison guard's identity, and that is basically how the thugs, the Hermetists, Satanists, wizards, witches, whatever you wish, whatever one wishes to call them, if there exists a name for those. This is how they take over the Vatican, and more importantly, this is how they take over Malta. Okay, and well, that's about it in this topic. So this is the message that Caravaggio sent to us from the Dark Ages in Europe. Basically, if you read philosophy, we know a great deal about what happened in antiquity. We know about Socrates, Plato, Aristotle. We know about the pre-Socratics, but we know very little about what happened in the Dark Ages. I mean, that's why they call it Dark Ages in Europe. We know very little about what happened in the Dark Ages. Okay. Now coming back to, okay, fast forwarding a few centuries or so, we come back to the present time. Look at these three people. Okay, in my book, what we see here is Middle Eastern features, and what we see here is Middle Eastern features, and what we see here is Middle Eastern features. Okay? Doppelgangers. What we see on these three people are in fact Middle Eastern features. Okay? Don't give me any bullshit. Just get on your face recognition, artificial intelligence, and you will see this is Middle Eastern. Okay, they may be doppelgangers of real people that did exist, but well, however, in my book, according to my understanding, these features, the facial features, are in fact Middle Eastern. Thanks for your attention on this one, and I hope this time my message gets read properly. Thanks.